przejdziemy dzisiaj ostatni epizod Law and Order Legacies.
In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Hey man, someone just fell off the bridge.
What the hell?
The protesters grabbed him and threw him over.
Yeah, this is Fontana down at the protest. Just got a report of a man being thrown off a bridge. I need the harbor unit down here quick. Oh, and gotta call homicide.
Z tego co czytałem, ostatni epizod łączy wszystkie poprzednie sprawy, więc Burian, może już od razu włącz poradnik, tak na wszelki wypadek.
Hey, Fontana.
That divers just pulled him out, Detective. I had him hold off. Thought you might like the first look.
Now let's have a look.
No właśnie, ciekawe.
Yuck. What is this stuff?
It's from the East River, so you probably don't want to know.
Man, this is just disgusting. What's this? A note? Consider this a dress rehearsal. The next time will be real. Giles Bedford is a murderer. If he is not brought to justice, we will bring it to him. Six Semper Tyrannis. Signed, the 99. What the hell? Is this a mannequin?
Looks like it. Maybe somebody's idea of street theater.
Yeah, well, maybe somebody is gonna pay for dragging me out here on a Sunday. Let's see what else we got.
Jeszcze klucz i portfel.
Handcuffed to his wrist and locked. I thought this kind of thing only happened in spy movies.
O, super Burian.
Ugh. Ugh. Duct tape across the hand. Strange. What's underneath?
Dobra, jest klucz.
Small key. Maybe for a locker or a briefcase. Key fits.
Super. O, pieniądze z Monopoly.
A bunch of fake bills. Yeah, this guy's a real prankster.
Co? Akademia Pranków Cheetos?
Giles Bedford? That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
You know this guy?
Yeah, Giles Bedford, CEO of Bedford Capital, father of Harrison Bedford, the kid who got killed in the preppy jogger case.
How does Wallach get here? Man.
Dobra, mamy
does any of this
wszystko.
mean anything to you?
Yeah, a lot actually. I met this guy Bedford during the investigation of his son's murder back in 1998. Looks like someone thinks he might have done it.
And it looks like they want him dead.
Fontana, I need to find the person who wrote this note.
Chyba tylko w jednym
What happened to the
epizodzie
guy
się
who
nie
reported
pojawiło
the crime?
nawiązanie do niej.
Damn, sorry, Detective. He just ran back in the crowd before I knew what the hell happened. I'll start a canvass of the bridge right away.
The sooner the better. I'm Detective Curtis. I'm looking for Giles Bedford. What happened?
Myocardial infarction. Heart attack. Mr. Bedford was admitted earlier. We did an emergency bypass, and he's stabilized now.
I need to talk to him about an incident.
Sorry, that's totally out of the question.
Look, there's been a threat against his life. I'd appreciate your cooperation.
No, I mean, he's completely unconscious, sedated. But I'll try to tell you anything I can.
What precipitated his heart attack?
I'm not entirely sure. A Good Samaritan admitted him, dropped Giles off at the emergency room around 9 a.m., but didn't identify himself to the nursing staff. I was in surgery all morning till 11, and Giles wasn't lucid enough to describe it. He has been under a lot of stress recently, though. I've been treating him for it.
Can you think of anyone who might have made threats against Mr. Bedford recently?
No, not offhand. Although he certainly was rattled by some run-ins he had with the Occupy Wall Street crowd.
Oh? What happened?
Anonymous email threats from the 99%. He said he felt vulnerable.
Pewnie jest jakiś dowód? Nie wiem, to wybiorę, no bo jest ten sam numer, ale naprawdę było coś takiego? Najwyraźniej tak.
He asked for a refill on an old prescription.
What prescription did he ask for?
An anti-anxiety drug called Banaxylene.
Could it have caused the heart attack?
Banaxylene can have some nasty side effects, but heart failure isn't one of them. Plus, Giles was on a prolonged course before, so I doubt there's a connection. I only needed to monitor him every 180 days.
Before when?
Spring of '98, I think.
Nie mam pojęcia. Dobra, Burian, możesz podawać odpowiedzi. Dobra.
So, around the time of his son's murder.
Shortly before, actually. Yes. Tragedy. And he was already under so much other stress.
You said Mr. Bedford was already under stress before the murder?
Well, at that time, he discovered his son's high school girlfriend was pregnant. As any father can tell you, it was not happy news. He was furious. It was no real secret that Mr. Bedford didn't think Allison came from the, right background.
And Harrison still told him.
Oh, no, I did. The kids came to me for the test, and she being a minor, I thought it best to tell Mr. Bedford.
What happened after that?
I assume it all worked out. He's a very happy grandfather now.
Anything suspicious about his condition when he was admitted?
No, other than the circumstances, he appeared normal.
No physical injuries, contusions, needle marks?
No, I checked him thoroughly myself.
And all his personal effects were with him?
Yes, everything.
No, powiedzmy, że ma rację. Jednak nie.
His wallet was missing. Whoever took it was connected to this incident on the bridge somehow. You know any Latin?
Yes, a little, I suppose.
Sic semper tyrannis mean anything to you?
Thus always to tyrants. Supposedly what Marcus Brutus said immediately before he killed Julius Caesar. Oh, and don't forget John Wilkes Booth.
Where were you this morning, if you don't mind my asking?
I was in surgery, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. with Dr. Schomburg.
Fuck.
Thanks. I'll need his number, though, just to double-check.
Really, Detective. I prefer to keep my patients alive. It's bad business to try and murder them.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Giles Bedford? Unusual calls, erratic behavior?
Understood. Sorry, that was the new acting CEO of Bedford Industries. She requested I not speak to anyone without corporate representation. You better speak with her directly.
Thanks. I will.
Czasami będę zaznaczać samemu, ale jak zostanie ostatnia szansa, no to już będę czekał na odpowiedzi, Burian.
Well, I couldn't find the guy, so I asked around. Photographers, video bloggers, anyone who might have had footage of the crowd.
And?
You kidding me? You'd think I was arresting their mother for the dirty looks they were giving me. Anyway, I got some footage of a few of the ATM machines around here. The banks were plenty happy to help me out. That's your guy.
Any ID?
I'm working on it. At least now I got a picture. I got tired of asking, hey, you seen any angry, scruffy guys around?
All right. Keep me updated. Hey, Benson, it's Curtis. Can you meet me at Bedford Capital in Midtown? I got an interview and I could use your help.
W ogóle poczytałem już trochę książkę Archona i bardzo mi się podoba. Tak napisana właśnie w archonowy sposób.
Allison Conway? You're the acting CEO?
Jest sporo humoru.
Dr. Markovich didn't mention your name. This is Detective Benson.
Pleasure. Now, I'm a very busy woman at the moment. I don't have time to talk. Unless you've got a new lead on Harrison's murder.
I've got a new lead on Harrison's murder.
Great. You've got 5 minutes.
Archon tam opisywał, że na technice robili kanapki. I w sumie ja też robiłem w podstawówce kanapki na technice. Burian, czy ty też? Czy każdy miał taką samą technikę w podstawówce?
Did Giles receive any threats he was worried about recently?
Threats? No. Nothing like that.
Jejku, aż 10 gwiazdek trzeba zebrać.
His doctor
To
mentioned
kojarzyłem.
anonymous email threats from the 99%.
I'm sure that was just spam. He wasn't
Przed chwilą
taking them
była ta
seriously.
informacja.
It didn't bother him.
His doctor also told us Giles said he felt vulnerable.
Hearsay, detective.
We're not in court. He also asked for a refill on his anti-anxiety medication. Why'd you put a stop to my interview with Dr.
O,
Markovich?
czekaj, to w sumie nie
It
były
wasn't personal,
tylko
detective.
kanapki.
I have a legal
Po
and
prostu
ethical
robiliśmy
obligation to
jedzenie.
protect the company.
Pamiętam, że niektórzy robili sałatkę owocową, sałatkę warzywną. Ale ja z tego co pamiętam, przyniosłem tosty? Fuck. Muszę być
Giles
mniej
Bedford is
podejrzliwy.
the founder of this firm, and you were
Czasami
questioning his
mówią
personal
prawdę.
physician. It was inappropriate at best. As CEO, I can't stand by and let a police investigation further destabilize an already very unstable situation. I'm sure you understand.
It's Giles Bedford who may be in danger here. Allison, there's no way to break this gently. My lead suspect right now in Harrison's murder is his father, Giles.
Really? Is that all you got? Because that is utterly ridiculous. If it weren't potentially slanderous, I'd be laughing. Giles Bedford loved his son. I will back Giles all the way on this. I was there, Detective.
I'm not the only one who thinks he could have done this.
Okay, who else? Share your evidence.
Fuck.
I'm sorry, Allison. I can't share that kind of information with you.
Then we're wasting each other's time. Where's Detective Briscoe? I'd like to talk to him if you don't mind.
You can't.
Why not?
He's dead.
Oh.
Passed away a couple years ago.
Oh God, I'm sorry. He was your partner.
Allison, this is obviously a difficult time for you. We don't want to add to the stress here. We just want to make sure no one is trying to hurt Giles.
Thanks.
Do you know if Giles has any other relatives who could help us investigate?
His wife passed many years ago, and Harrison, of course, is gone. No one else.
Dobra, tylko teraz jaka odpowiedź?
Didn't he have another son?
Franklin.
Oh,
Ten żółw.
right. God. Yes, Franklin, of course. Sorry, he's in Minnesota. Decided to drop out. Gave up his inheritance. Cut all ties.
Was Giles ever cold to you?
How do you mean?
Did he ever give you reason to think maybe he didn't approve? I mean, it must have been hard, stepping into the Bedford social strata.
No, there was never a problem.
We heard that maybe Giles had a difficult time accepting you and Harrison as a couple.
Oh, that? It's been overblown. And besides, look at me now. Things worked out just fine, didn't they?
Well, take a look at this. He look familiar?
No.
Allison, if you really want to protect Mr. Bedford, then at least tell us who this guy is. He may want to hurt him.
I can't be sure. Maybe it's not...
Tell us, please.
It's Franklin. Harrison's little brother. Giles' other son. He used to have a crush on me. I never felt the same. But I haven't seen him in 10 years, not since he moved away.
Looks like he's back.
You arrested him once, remember? Falsely.
Oh yeah, the prep school murder. This is the same kid?
He's gone through a lot of changes since then. I guess we all have.
Would he have any reason to want to hurt your father?
Hard to say. Franklin got more and more unpredictable after college. Mood swings. Some days he loved Giles, other days Giles was an evil corporate tyrant.
Do you know where we could find him?
No, honestly, he hasn't been in touch.
Thanks, Allison. Let us know if he contacts you. Dead end.
No one knows where Franklin is.
And no one will talk to us about the Central Park case.
You know, at this point, I'm thinking we should look at Franklin for that one, too.
What?
How else would he know so much about it? It's the simplest explanation, Curtis. He killed his brother over a girl. Don't tell me you haven't seen that one a million times.
Yeah, I have. And while you might kill your brother over a lot of things, you don't hire a hitman to do it.
Maybe if you'd never gotten your hands dirty doing anything else in life. So, Allison never saw her attacker?
Her memory comes and goes. Plus, CSU told us that she was lying face down when she was shot.
How are we gonna break this? What would Lenny have done?
Work the leads. He'd go back and re-interview everyone again.
Old school.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought of someone who might be motivated to talk to us now. Mickey Trevino.
Right. He's probably getting sick of prison. Maybe he wants to deal.
Mickey Trevino. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to come visit us.
Detective Curtis, always a pleasure.
I got some more questions for you, Mickey.
About Pop? I can turn right around and leave then, 'cause I got nothing to say.
What about your connection to a certain 9mm? What about a guy named Frank Vincenzo Jr.?
Depends, but I don't do favors. So we talking some kind of deal here?
Depends. What do you got for me?
Ask away.
No dobra, no to pytamy.
Did you know Frank Vincenzo Jr. personally?
Sure, I knew him. He lived in the building.
No w sumie tak pewnie to powiedział. Okej, tym razem faktycznie prawda. No ale skąd to wiem? Dzięki, Burian.
You know, some of the old farts could be cranky bastards, complaining about the heat. So I'd go up to his apartment and fix it. But he was cool. He'd give me this homemade brandy. We used to drink it right out of the mason jars.
He ever talk to you about what he did for a living?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, Frank got diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma. Cancer in his bones. He knew he was dying. After that, he started getting talkative.
You told me originally you found that gun. You want to change your story?
Yeah, Frank gave me the gun, actually. He said it was untraceable.
Yeah, well, it was, until you used it.
What's your question, Detective?
I told you he used it in a crime,
Yeah, so what?
but I didn't tell you which one. Did he?
Yeah, he said it made headlines. He said I'd know it. And he said the case went cold.
No i co? Znowu to będzie prawda? Może chce współpracować? Kurczę.
What else?
After the deal.
Give me something for the DA, Mickey.
All right. Remember when they shot up Gnocchi Balistreri right in front of Tally's bar? That was Frank. And you know your big collar when you nabbed Billy Delegati? You were so proud. Well, Billy didn't do none of that stuff you sent him up for. It was all Frank. You want proof? Frank's widow still got the guns, only she don't know she got them. They're in a cardboard box underneath the good silver. Mostly 9mm. That was his weapon of choice. Go look, and then we'll talk about the preppy joggers.
Dobra, mam 5 na 4 gwiazdki, to mogę w sumie strzelać.
I didn't mention the Central Park case.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Mickey. I'll talk to the DA. Meantime, don't leave town.
Very funny, Detective Curtis.
Hey, Benson. What's up? Jesus. I'll be right there. Franklin, put the gun down.
Don't come any closer. I'll blow his head off. Swear to God I will.
Don't aggravate him. He's insane.
Shut up, tyrant.
Easy, Franklin. Easy.
Franklin, it's okay. We just want to talk.
Talk to him, Curtis. Maybe he'll listen to you.
What should I say?
Tell him whatever he wants to hear. Lie to him if you have to. Give up evidence. Whatever it takes to de-escalate the situation.
Ojejku, no dobra, spróbuję.
I gave you fair warning. I told you justice was coming, but you did nothing.
Dobra.
That's not true, Franklin. I followed up on some very promising leads.
Leads, huh? What do you know that I don't already know, Detective?
I haven't exactly been sitting on my ass this whole time. Since I came back, this case is active again.
Fine. Then give me something to make me believe you're doing your homework.
The name Frank Vincenzo Jr. mean anything to you?
Yes. Yes, it does. That name keeps coming up, but I don't know why.
I can tell you if you'll listen to me.
Okay, I'm listening.
Frank Vincenzo Jr. is a hitman, and he's connected to the gun that killed Harrison and wounded Allison.
I knew it. A hitman.
This is ridiculous. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yes, you do, old man. Tell him, Detective. Slam dunk it.
Dobrze.
I got a guy, Mickey Trevino, with incontrovertible evidence connecting the 9mm to Frank Vincenzo Jr. and Frank to the murder.
There's only one way to get justice for my brother.
Don't throw your life away, Franklin.
Why? What do I have to live for? All I want is this. It's all I've wanted for 10 years.
No, tym razem źle.
The movement's important. You need to keep the flame alive.
Someone else will take up the torch. The people won't be stopped so easily. Okay. Maybe you're right.
No ale dobra, sytuacja opanowana.
Believe me.
Is that why you threw the mannequin off the bridge?
Yeah, I was with him, trying to convince him to confess when he had his heart attack. When I dropped him off at the hospital, I got the idea to stage his death. I hope maybe the newspapers or bloggers would pick up the story.
You're delusional, son.
Yeah, well, the jury's still out on that, Mr. Bedford.
I've looked through the file, Detective, but I have to admit, I'm not seeing enough to put Giles Bedford away for his son Harrison's murder.
We've got the makings of a good circumstantial case, Mike.
That's not the issue. A jury is going to see Bedford as a grieving father. You're going to have to convince them that he's a murderer.
Let me walk you through how I see it.
Co 12 gwiazdek?
I'm not just solving this case for myself, Mr. Cutter. I'm doing it for my old partner, Lenny Briscoe.
A noble sentiment, Detective, but it's not something I can take to a jury. The first question the jury is going to ask is, what's the motive here? Why would Giles Bedford kill his own son?
You got something for us, Curtis?
W ogóle, czemu tutaj nie ma licznika pomyłek?
Bedford found out his son's girlfriend was pregnant. From what Franklin and Allison
Czy coś się stanie, jak za dużo razy źle wybiorę?
So he killed his son? How does that add up?
It doesn't, which is why it makes sense.
Fuck.
She's right. Both Mickey Trevino and Frank's widow have told us independently that the hit went wrong. The widow said Vincenzo never got paid. My working theory is that Bedford paid to have Allison killed, but during the attack, Harrison somehow got in the way.
That I can understand. I'm betting a jury can see it that way too.
Mickey Trevino will testify that Frank Vincenzo Jr. told him he committed this murder.
And Bedford's defense lawyer will throw out the testimony. It's all hearsay, Detective.
Not necessarily, Mike. The statement may fall under one of the hearsay exceptions. Curtis, what can you tell us about it?
I don't know. What are the exceptions?
Okay, there's present sense impression, meaning something that was happening at the moment, within a 30 to 40 second window.
There's also an exception for any statement made as part of a regular business record.
And there's present physical condition, which would be a statement made to anyone about the declarant's current physical condition. Any of those fit Trevino's evidence?
No kurde.
Sorry, from what I heard, none of those quite fit.
Hang on, there are a few more. There's
Przez to,
another
że jest
exception
12
for a dying
gwiazdek, z góry
declaration,
przyjmuję,
which
że
apply to any
będzie
statement
dużo
made by
rzeczy do
Vincenzo if he knew he
udowodnienia,
was dying.
czyli
And
zdobycia
there's also
kolejnych
former
gwiazdek.
testimony, which would involve anything Vincenzo said during previous sworn testimony.
And the excited utterance if Vincenzo said something in the heat of the moment during or immediately after the crime.
No, nareszcie. No ale jaka tutaj będzie odpowiedź, Burian?
I think we could work with dying declaration.
Oh, really? Why?
No i co dalej?
Mickey told me Vincenzo started getting chatty after he was diagnosed with terminal stage cancer.
Unusual, but I think it qualifies. Mike?
I think you could make a jury see that as a deathbed confession. Go with it.
I also learned from Bedford's doctor that he's being treated for anxiety.
Interesting, but not definitive. What's he being treated with?
Dobra. Okej, to pamiętałem.
Benaxaline.
That's a pretty common medication. As I understand, there aren't any significant side effects.
Actually, his doctor mentioned that Benaxaline had some nasty side effects.
And it gets even better, Mike. I remember a case about last year. Newlyweds. She kills him completely out of the blue. Turns out she's on Benaxaline and has these episodes of uncontrollable rage. She stops the meds and suddenly she's fine.
Great story, but how does that help us? Our crime happened 13 years ago.
Curtis, anything that can help us here?
Chyba tak.
The good doctor also told us Bedford first took Benaxaline for anxiety in the weeks before the shooting.
We're damn lucky this physician likes to talk.
I think he honestly believes that Bedford has nothing to hide.
All right, Detective. You convinced me. Bedford paid a hitman to take care of a problem for him. His son was a tragic accident, yes, but that doesn't let him off the hook for the murder. And I'm throwing the charge of attempted murder on top. Let's not forget the price paid by Allison Conway and all this.
Thank you for joining us today, Franklin. As Mr. Bedford's only surviving son, it can't be easy for you to testify against him, especially in the murder of your brother.
That's how strongly I believe he's guilty.
Franklin, please tell the court what Giles Bedford, your father, thought of Allison Conway when he first met her.
He didn't like her. At dinner later, he said to me, "She's a gold-digging tramp."
Why would he think that?
Dad didn't feel Allison came from the right background.
Skąd to wiem? Nie wiem, Burian mi powie.
So, safe to say, at the time of the shooting, there was no love lost between Giles Bedford and Allison Conway.
Yeah, that's right.
Your brother Harrison, what were his plans around the time of the murder?
He was going to go to college, get into the firm, become the next CEO, probably. That's what my dad wanted for him.
And did the plans change when he found out Allison was pregnant?
Yeah, he told me he wanted to drop out and live with her. He said this was the perfect time to escape Bedford Castle, as he called it.
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay. Regrettably, we can't cross-examine the victim to establish the veracity of the statement.
Sustained. Miss Carmichael, try and find another tack with this witness.
Fuck.
Franklin, did Allison Conway tell you anything about the
Mogłem
situation?
zaczekać na ciebie, Burian.
Yeah, actually. We were pretty close, back then anyway. She said she and Harrison were planning on getting a place. He was going to go to City College, and she was going to finish up high school and look after the baby.
And as for Giles Bedford?
She told me she was afraid of what he would do when he found out.
How would you describe your relationship with your father?
Strained, Miss Carmichael. I found myself pointing a gun at his head not too awfully long ago.
Why?
Because I believe he killed my brother Harrison, and I believe that his position of privilege and wealth has kept him from justice.
Your Honor, how is this relevant to the murder of Harrison Bedford?
It's not. Rein it in, Counselor.
Franklin, why don't you tell us what kinds of behavior your father displayed back in those days?
Well, he was stressed out about the firm, and then about Harrison's future. He would get real dark at dinner, then go pop a Banaxaline and chase it with gin.
Objection! This witness is not the defendant's doctor. How could he possibly know what medication his father was on?
Ojejku, niektóre odpowiedzi są tak dobre. Teraz zaczekam na ciebie.
Franklin, can you tell the court how you knew your father was taking Banaxaline?
Little orange pills with the word Banaxaline on them? Dead giveaway, Miss Carmichael. Anyway, sometimes it helped, sometimes it just made him crazier. Dad's an addict, whether he wants to admit it or not.
Banaxaline, a drug with known side effects that include bouts of uncontrollable rage and even, in the most extreme cases, murder. People submit a case study of Banaxaline and its links to aggression and violence. Now, while under the influence of this unpredictable medication and finding out Allison was pregnant, he would have gone ballistic, right?
Objection! Calls for speculation.
It's his own father. Are you saying Franklin can't imagine how his own father would have reacted?
Speculation is speculation, Counselor. Leave it alone.
Withdrawn. Franklin, from everything you witnessed about your father's mood and behavior, do you believe he's capable of killing his own son?
Yes, Miss Carmichael, I do. He's a tyrant. A man obsessed with wealth and his family status. And I believe he's mentally unstable. So yes, I think he killed my brother.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Bedford, may I call you Franklin?
Yeah, Mr. Bedford is my father.
This is quite an accusation you've leveled, against your own father even. Tell us, do you have any proof?
Do I need proof, man? Isn't that what this whole trial is for? No, I don't have proof. But the people of New York do.
So you don't have proof?
Objection.
I to chyba będzie to.
Asked and answered.
Sustained.
You testified
Super.
a lot about your father's state of mind, but you also said that you don't have a very close relationship with him.
Wait a minute, I said it wasn't good. I never said it wasn't close. Too close for comfort, if you ask me.
Noted. When was the last time you spoke to your father?
Well, we met. It was right when he had his heart attack. I was the one who took him to the hospital.
Oh, so if you thought he was guilty, why not let him die right there? You were eager enough to kill him later.
I guess I felt guilty.
You did? Why?
I might very well have caused it. The heart attack. We argued. See, I accused him and it was intense.
What kind of son are you anyway? Scruffy-looking hippie attacking your
Obraża.
father in his old age like that?
Objection. Your Honor, this is off-the-charts badgering right here.
Agreed. Mr. Vance, keep it civil.
No co on sobie
Sorry,
wyobraża?
There's just nothing worse than an
Wyobraża.
ungrateful son.
Objection.
Znowu?
Your Honor, seriously?
Try that one more time, and I will bounce you out of this courtroom, Mr. Vance.
Apologies. Let's talk about the past now. Let's go back to the time of the murder. You say your father was angry with your brother, and so he killed him. Interesting theory, but who else was angry with Harrison?
I don't follow you.
Didn't you have a crush on Allison Conway? Weren't you jealous of your brother?
Yes, but no. You're twisting it.
You loved Allison Conway, and you killed your own brother in a jealous rage.
Objection.
Chyba znowu to?
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
Tell us, Frank.
Jednak nie.
Weren't you jealous enough of your brother to kill him?
Objection. Asked and answered.
Overruled.
No
You may not like
fuck.
it, but the question does have legitimate
Już tego nie
probative value.
wybieram.
Sorry, counselor.
I did not kill my brother. I loved him. I idolized him. I wanted Allison, sure, but I would never have hurt Harrison to have her.
So you had a problem with Harrison's relationship, but not enough to resort to murder.
Yes, that's right.
Seems reasonable. And I imagine your father would probably say the exact same thing. No further questions.
Mr. Trevino, you are here to tell the court about your association with the late Mr. Frank Vincenzo and to testify to what he told you before he died.
That's right.
Mr. Vincenzo knew he was dying when he took you into his confidence, correct?
Yeah, he got diagnosed with terminal cancer. Only had a few months left. Guess he needed to get some stuff off his chest.
Can you tell the court what you knew about Frank Vincenzo Jr.?
Well, he was a guy from the building, an older guy. My dad warned me never to cross him. I got the idea he was connected. So when we started talking, he told me what he did.
And what was that?
He was a hitman, Mr. Cutter.
And his weapon of choice?
Shotgun.
Nie no, to była inna broń. Chyba trzecie? Super.
You sure?
No, you're right, Mr. Cutter. It was a 9mm.
He gave you one of those weapons, didn't he?
That's correct.
And the weapon he gave you to help your father shoot Alexander Baran was the same weapon used to shoot Harrison Bedford in 1998. Did Mr. Vincenzo describe the crime to you?
Yeah, he told me how it happened. He tracked the kids through the park.
And what year was this?
1998.
Dobra.
The year of the Central Park murder. And what time of day?
It was a weekend. Lunchtime, I think.
Fuck. Nie tym razem.
Really?
No, hang on. I remember now. It was late afternoon, around dark. Yeah.
Did Mr. Vincenzo describe any specifics of the crime? Anything to help authenticate his testimony?
Well, he shot the boy first, 2 times. The first hit him in the stomach, and then the second round went right through his heart. He said he made the girl lie down, face down, and then he shot her in the head, sort of from the side. He was real surprised she survived.
Dobra. Tylko co tutaj?
Allison Conway shot in the head while lying prone on the ground. Crime scene analysts confirmed this, and, most important, it was a detail the police kept out of the press. Only a witness could have known. Now, Mr. Trevino, the $64,000 question. Who hired Frank Vincenzo Jr. to kill Harrison Bedford?
Actually, you got your facts wrong, Mr. Cutter.
What?
Frankie told me he got hired to kill the girl, not the boyfriend.
So what happened?
The guy attacked Frankie, there was a fight, and both kids ended up shot.
And who hired him?
He told me it was Giles Bedford.
No, it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino.
Yeah, like I said, it went all wrong.
Mr. Trevino, let's start with something easy. Please state your current address.
My address? You kidding me?
Go on.
I'm at Altona Correctional Facility.
So, you're in jail.
Yes.
Convicted of a felony?
Yes.
Objection! Defense is improperly introducing the witness's criminal history to impeach his credibility.
Under FRE 609A, it's allowed, Your Honor.
He's got you there, Mr. Cutter. Please, continue.
Did you take a deal in exchange for your testimony?
Yes.
I imagine the deal got sweeter the more you had to say about my client.
Objection! I didn't hear a question there, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I'll rephrase. Isn't it true your deal was contingent not just on your testimony, but the quality of that testimony?
What, you think the DA wants to hear me sit up here and talk about my cats? Of course my testimony has to be good.
Answer only the question I asked, Mr. Trevino.
Yes.
Isn't it true that in almost any other trial, this testimony would be considered hearsay and therefore completely inadmissible?
Objection! Speculation.
Overruled. Ladies and
Co
gentlemen
nie o
of the
to
jury,
chodziło?
let me categorize Mr. Trevino's testimony for you. It is a story told by a convicted felon in exchange for reduced punishment. Even if it's true, these are the words of a dying assassin, a man with no morals whatsoever. Why would any reasonable person ever rate this against the innocence of a man who has been a pillar of New York society for his entire life?
Objection.
Ale co to będzie?
Your Honor, Mr. Vance is arguing his case, not questioning the witness.
Sustained. Cut it out, counselor.
I have no further questions for this witness.
The people rest their case, Your Honor.
Very well. And Mr. Vance?
Motion to dismiss the charges against my client. The people have failed to adequately meet the burden of proof. The state must prove the critical facts of the case to the appropriate level of certainty. They have not done so.
I don't know. I heard some pretty good juice, Mr. Vance. I'm denying your motion. Call your witnesses.
We call Allison Conway to the stand. Miss Conway, can you describe your relationship with the defendant?
Yes, Giles, Mr. Bedford is the grandfather to my child. His son Harrison and I were involved in high school. And now, of course, he is the CEO of the corporation I work for.
How many years have you known him?
Since 1998.
In that time, have you ever seen him act violent or unpredictable? Miss Conway?
No. No, I never have.
Many people have said Mr. Bedford disapproved of your relationship, thought you were from the wrong side of the tracks. But this is rumor that's been blown out of proportion, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. The defense is leading Miss Conway through her testimony.
Sustained.
Can you describe how Mr. Bedford acted towards you and the baby after the murder?
He was nice. The whole family welcomed me and my son. He paid for my medical bills, and schooling. He paid for everything. He got me this job, told me I should work for him.
Miss Conway, is something wrong?
No, I'm fine.
So you think Mr. Bedford felt kindly toward you, maybe even like the daughter he never had?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation. Miss Conway can't read Mr. Bedford's mind.
Sustained.
And in your opinion, did Mr. Bedford treat you like someone he was ashamed of or did not like?
No. No, quite the opposite. More like he owed me something.
No further questions. Thank you, Miss Conway.
Miss Carmichael, your witness.
Miss Conway's given multiple depositions regarding the facts of this case, and we have no further need to question her.
Dr. Markovich, how long have you been treating Giles Bedford?
I've been the family doctor for over 13 years.
And in that time, did you treat him with Banaxylene?
Yes, I did. Mr. Bedford works in a very high-stress financial situation, and he wanted medication that would help him relax and be more effective.
Did you ever observe any side effects?
No, I did not. Nor did he report any.
Have any of your patients, or any patients you've heard of, ever reported side effects while on Banaxylene?
Jakie to ma znaczenie?
Relevance. The medical histories of other patients are completely irrelevant. The doctor is testifying about Mr. Bedford.
Sustained.
In the 13 years you have treated Mr. Bedford, have you ever seen him display aggressive or violent tendencies to anyone in his immediate family on medication or off it?
No, sir. No, I have not.
Good afternoon, Doctor. I just have a few questions for you today. A few things to clear up. Read this disclaimer, please. It's the drug warning for Banaxylene.
This drug may make you dizzy or drowsy or cause blurred vision. Avoid alcoholic beverages. Older adults may be more sensitive to the side effects of this drug, especially loss of coordination and drowsiness. Banaxylene may cause symptoms including mental mood changes, sleep disturbance, increase in aggression, feelings of paranoia, or hallucinations.
Increase in aggression. You know that when you were treating Mr. Bedford?
I never knew Banaxylene had any side effects until I was called to testify for this trial.
No dobra, spróbuję to. Jednak nie.
You told detectives that you knew Banaxylene had, quote, some nasty side effects.
I did?
To była druga odpowiedź,
Well,
nad
if
którą
they
się
say so.
zastanawiałem.
How often did you check in on Giles Bedford?
Every 180 days.
Tak czy nie?
So how can you say that you did or did not see any side effects? That's a half year of not seeing your patient. Anything could happen in that time. One final thing, Doctor. When detectives originally talked to you in Mr. Bedford's hospital room, you told them something very interesting.
I did?
Oh, yes. Do you remember what it was?
No.
I'll remind you. You told them when, exactly, Mr. Bedford discovered Allison Conway was pregnant. When you told him secretly.
Oh.
Remember when you said that was, relative to the date of the murder?
Sometime after.
No i co tutaj będzie?
No. You told Giles Bedford that Allison was pregnant before the murder. Before. He knew about the secret pregnancy because you told him. And he was angry. You said so yourself.
Yes. Furious.
So furious, in fact, that he contacted Frank Vincenzo Jr. and arranged to have her shot dead. In cold blood.
Oh my God.
Objection, Your Honor.
Withdrawn. No further questions.
Allison? What are you doing here?
I want to talk.
As long as the trial is still underway, I'm afraid there's not much I can say to you.
Fine, so I'll do the talking. There's something I've tried very hard to push down, to forget, but it's coming back. Mr. Bedford always told me the baby was a surprise to him. He never, ever mentioned he knew about it beforehand. So when you said the name, it didn't click before.
What name?
Frank Vincenzo Jr. Can you show me a picture of him? Thank you.
Your Honor, the people call Allison Conway to the stand as a friendly witness.
Objection. What's going on here, Mike?
Both of you, approach.
Allison Conway recently had a breakthrough, and her memory is crucial to the people's case. We want to call her to testify.
I've had no warning of this.
She has additional evidence to present.
I'll move for a mistrial as soon as she leaves the stand.
And I will decide whether your motion has merit, Counselor, but not a moment before. Now, take a deep breath and listen to what your witness has to say. You introduced her. Now you get to take your lumps, Mr. Vance. Mr. Cutter, your witness.
Miss Conway, can you tell us why you're here today?
After I was shot, my memory was spotty, but over the years, I've been able to put some pieces back together.
And you recently remembered something about the shooting.
I haven't thought about that day in years. I've tried not to. My life was perfect in some ways. There was no reason to remember. But this trial, it's all coming back.
Tell us about what you remember on the day of the shooting.
It was a school day. I went to Harrison's house in the afternoon, like I usually did, but he wasn't there. Mr. Bedford said he sent him on an errand and he wouldn't be back soon. Mr. Bedford knew we had a track meet coming up, so he suggested I take a run in the park while I waited. He would have his driver take me over there. I felt uncomfortable in the house, so I said fine and got changed. As I was about to leave, Harrison came back early. He asked where I was going, and when I told him, he said he wanted to come with me. He was scared about the pregnancy, but protective too. Proud even. So it was just the two of us out for a run. Harrison didn't even bother changing. I remember he had this funny Argyle sweater on. Anyway, we got in the car and Harrison noticed right away. The driver, he was new. Harrison asked him his name and he told us. I remember it because it was a funny coincidence. He had the same name as Harrison's brother, Frank. When Detective Curtis showed me the picture of Frank Vincenzo Jr., I knew what you had done. It wasn't enough you wanted the tramp from the wrong side of the tracks out of your son's life. You wanted me dead, and your unborn grandchild.
No.
Frank wasn't a driver. He was a hitman, hired to kill me. And he followed us into the park, but then Harrison fought back, protected me. And he ended up paying the ultimate price for your anger. When you realized what you had done, to assuage your dirty, rotten conscience, you took me in, paid my bills, bought my love and loyalty. You bastard!
Miss Conway.
Well, the truth is out, Giles. And now the whole world will know what you are. What you always were. Murderer.
Thank you, Allison. No further questions.
How long has the jury been out?
6 hours.
What do you think they'll come back with?
Lots of circumstantial evidence. Defense knocked us around pretty good.
Jury likes us.
Sure. But remember, all it takes is one.
One person to undo a decade of police work.
Lenny would be proud, Ray. I hope you know that.
Thanks, LT. Showtime.
Have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
And how do you find?
On the count of murder in the first degree, we find the defendant, Giles Bedford, guilty.
And on the count of attempted murder?
Guilty.
We thank you for your service. Defendant is remanded into custody until sentencing.
Well, Vance has already filed his appeal.
Of course. We saw that coming a mile away.
Doesn't matter. You won today, and that's what's important.
And tomorrow, do it all over again.
That's how it worked when I was ADA. But tonight, we celebrate. Dinner's on me.
Hey, Lenny. How you doing? Look, I came out here. I just wanted to tell you. We got him. After all these years, we got him. It was nice, having one last chance to work with you on a case. Funny, it really doesn't seem like that long ago. But you blink your eyes and everything's different. People disappear, faces change. But, well, at least the city is still the same. Anyways, thanks. Couldn't have done it without you, old man.
No i udało się. Ukończyliśmy ostatnią sprawę, ale w ogóle mi się nie podobała przez to, że była powiązana z poprzednimi epizodami. No, sam pomysł na grę bardzo mi się podobał. No dobrze, to tyle na dzisiaj. Do zobaczenia na kolejnych live'ach. Na razie, cześć, pa pa!